We're back, episode 4 of Dads Being Dudes. Today we're coming at you. We just had a great interview with Joe Callari.
Great interview.
He's a fitness enthusiast. He's an online coach. I think he's an in-person coach as well, more than likely. He's a boxing coach. He was a boxer. He's a boxing coach now with everything going on with the coronavirus. He's an online fitness coach right now. His clients, if you look at his page, have unbelievable results. And they're mostly dads.
Yeah.
He deals with the dad community. So it's an awesome interview we have coming for you today. First, though, as usual, we got to kick it off with a shot.
That's it.
What are you drinking?
I got something different in my glass today. I got a little
Dr. Gillicuddy's, huh?
Dr. Gilly.
Wow. Nice. No coffee for you after 4 o'clock today.
No, not today. I didn't need it so bad today.
I have that Knob Creek smoked maple that I was talking about.
Oh, actually, that sounds awful.
Yeah. It hasn't been great, but I talked about it last episode. And to be honest, I didn't want to drink tequila straight. I didn't want to drink, the only rum I have is Malibu, and I didn't want to drink vodka. So I was just going with this.
Let's do it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Just like mouthwash, baby. Just like mouthwash.
Yeah, that's gross. Awesome. So today, all right, so the interview we had today, Joe talked about a lot of things. As someone who, like you said in the interview, you haven't worked out since at least before a month before Ollie was born. Does that give you a little kick in the ass? It makes you want to get back out there? Or are you like, oh, that's cool?
Yeah, wicked. I think, I think it's very easy to use the excuse of I'm too busy, not a whole lot of sleep, no time. I mean, obviously not right now with the quarantine, but when I go back to work and stuff. And I think he basically summed it up that there is plenty of time to get a workout in. And he even mentioned stuff that you don't need to go to the gym to get a workout in, And I think that's everyone's first mindset is I have no time to go to the gym. And yeah, he crushed it, man, on what he described on what to do and how to help dads. And yeah, it gives me hope.
Yeah, I think just overall what he talked about like just taking those small baby steps, like you said, like don't do 10,000 steps, do 8,000 steps. But if you take your family out for a walk, you're going to get those 8,000 steps in. Like it's easy. And then to next week, tack on another 1,000 and do 9,000. That's easy. And then tack on another 1,000 after that and hit 10,000. It's going to be easier as you go, like he talked about. And I just think the information he shared was super helpful, especially talking about eating healthy. He said he eats Chick-fil-A and Chipotle probably twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a six-pack. Like the guy is yoked. If you look at his Instagram page, the guy is yoked.
Yeah, he's got it going on for sure.
Yeah. And he's maintained a healthy relationship with his spouse through all of this. She's super supportive. He has a great relationship with his kid. Like he talks about, he incorporates working out into those certain things, certain activities that he does with his child, and who's only 15 months old. So that's got to be kind of hard. But those little things that he does definitely benefits and 100% helps.
Yes, without a doubt.
So,
Class A stud.
Definitely, for sure. Loved having him on. Great guy, too. Great guy.
Great guy. Great talker. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So I think that's it. We probably just got to shut up and let him do the talking now, huh?
Let's do it.
All right. Cool. Here it is, guys. Here is our interview with Joe Callari. Again, fitness coach, used to be a boxer, now coaches boxing, just has a lot of different experience out there, helps dads get in shape. And we thought that he would add a lot of value to you because, to be honest, a lot of us, including everyone listening to this, makes excuses. And he is just that excuse eliminator. He has not to mention, he has an online free program for dads. It's completely free. So you literally have nothing to lose to sit down with him and do a 30-minute Zoom conference to try and help get your life on track and try and help better yourself. So without further ado, here we go. Awesome. So we have Joe Callari today. He's here today. He's a fitness enthusiast. You're a personal trainer. Right now you're doing a lot of stuff online. So we wanted to hear from you today on just your whole experience. You're a dad. I think of what? I went through your page. Looks like your son's about a year old.
Yeah, 15 months.
That's awesome. So, yeah, I mean, that's one of the craziest times, obviously. People have every excuse in the book to stop working out during that time. And just going through your Instagram and your other pages and stuff, you've obviously maintained your physique. And I see you're a boxer as well.
Yeah. I'm actually a boxing coach right now. I had, way back in the day when I was 16 years old, I had 15 MMA fights, 8 Muay Thai matches, and then 6 boxing matches. Currently right now I'm retired. I might come out of retirement, but I just like training people and helping them because it's cool, starting somebody that's at ground zero, doesn't know anything, all the way to a fight night and then winning their fight. It's just like you can see their boost in confidence and, the biggest smile on the face. So I get more satisfaction out of that than I do fighting.
Do you train out of the clinic there in Cleveland or?
Yeah, there's actually a boxing gym over here called Revolution Fight and Fitness.
Okay.
So I'd go over there and then honestly, with this whole coronavirus going on here, I just get people coming over to my garage is like my home gym. So I have the heavy bag in there, the weights and everything like that. And then I'll like hold the focus mitts for everybody and just kind of run it through there.
That's cool. Boxing is something I'm trying to get more into. And it figures right as I was like getting excited about it and getting into it, it just completely stops. So figure. So I can't do any of that. I was talking to my brother the other day about what Dana White was trying to do with the UFC, where he was trying to buy that island. Did you see that?
Yeah. Fight Island. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. That would have been insane. But obviously, with everything going on, they have to stay safe and stuff. But cool. So I think one of the biggest things, obviously, just with dads in general, is the dad bod. Have you ever had a dad bod?
Yeah, I did. So like, I made sure I did my best to not get it, and I got it. Like it's like the coronavirus, man. It's contagious.
Yeah, right? Did you get it when is it wife or significant other?
Wife. So
wife.
Yeah, I got it when we were home. So basically when my son was born, he was actually born 36 days before his actual due dates. And he spent the first 2 weeks inside the NICU at the hospital due to complications at birth. During that time, I didn't get the dad bod because I made sure I was walking around the hospital, staying there. I made sure I was eating, the salads that they had at the cafeteria and all that stuff. I had my protein shakes with me that are convenient. But it was when I got home, that's when I realized, like, this is a serious issue here. And a lot of dads go through it. And it's mainly because of 3 things. 1, you're not being active. 2, you're eating quick grab-and-go options that probably aren't the healthiest for you. And 3, lack of sleep. All that is going to have a high stress in the body, and that's when you have higher levels of cortisol. Cortisol is basically your body's natural stress hormone. So the higher the cortisol, the easier it is for your body to store fat, mainly around your belly area. So that's where the dad bod comes from.
That's wild. I didn't know that. Makes sense.
And I had to go through it to actually be credible and realize, hey, this is something that is easier for dads to, get a belly, get the dad bod. And it's because of those 3 main things,
That's super interesting. I've never really thought about it like that. But if you think about it, the typical dad bod is like around their belly, So, all right. So you got the dad bod. How much weight did you gain?
Man, probably like 24 pounds.
Okay. So that's a significant amount.
Yeah, in like 2 months. Yeah.
The funny thing is it's so easy to gain it and so hard to lose it.
Yes.
That's the crazy thing. It's not hard. You just have to be willing to do it. I'm sure you hear that all the time as a personal trainer. But so what did you do to eliminate? What did you do to, one, realize what was happening, take control of it, and then come up with a solution and follow through on it?
So I put myself through my own program, and that's how I was able to lose the weight. Basically, like, I coach other dads out there through a 12-week journey called the 12-week transformation program. And it's very simple. I can't say like, oh, I have my clients do X, Y, and Z because I don't give X, Y, and Z programs. It's not a membership site. It's not cookie cutter or one size fits all. It's literally all tailored to like your workouts and how you want to be trained, the days of the week you want to work out, how long you want your workouts to be, and then the nutrition also. Like I don't tell people to do diets. I give people lifestyle nutritional plans that's suitable for their lifestyle. So I knew for me, I needed to basically have a set breakfast, dinner, lunch, a few snacks throughout the day and all that stuff, but stuff that was going to be convenient to my taste buds. Like, I'm the type of person that loves eating donuts. So I wanted to continue to eat donuts, but lose the weight. And I was able to do that. One of the questions that I know you asked me on the interview was basically like, as far as nutrition goes, like, do you do a certain diet or anything like that? Dude, I eat Chipotle and Chick-fil-A probably like twice a day. And like, if anybody was going to tell me to not eat those foods, I would be like, all right, then I'm in the wrong business, because who doesn't love donuts and Chipotle?
Yeah. Yeah. You're speaking to my wife's heart. She loves both of those things significantly.
Yeah.
I'm more of like she's a huge like sweets person. So she'll smash donuts all the time. Like, she made me wait in line when this whole coronavirus thing first started at a local donut shop for an hour and a half to get donuts. But yeah. So
They must be some good donuts.
To me, I'm not a sweets person. So to me, I'm like, we could go to Dunkin' Donuts. I could care less. But to her, yes, well worth it. But that was something I did notice though in your Instagram bio is you talk about eating carbs. There's a big fad recently of going low carb. I went through that myself, where for a year and a half, 2 years, I got myself into a rut of just trying to eat low carb, and then the weekends would come and I would just binge. So like, what are your thoughts on that? Obviously you eat a ton of carbs eating donuts and Chipotle and all that.
Once again, I'm not biased, like saying like, hey, don't do keto or don't do low carb. I'm more of a, hey, if your lifestyle is better off with no carbs, then don't do it. But the main thing is, it needs to be sustainable for you and your lifestyle and help you reach your goals. So I did keto for 8 months and I got shredded, man. I got ripped. But here's the thing, okay? When I introduced carbs back into my diet, my meal plan, I got fat. And the reason why is because, one, the weight I was losing, I'm sure it was a little bit of fat loss, but carbohydrates are actually 3 parts water. So when people initially cut out their carbs, they think, oh, I'm losing all this weight. Yeah, they are, but it's just water weight. It's not fat loss. There's a big difference, okay? And then the second thing is, when you cut out your carbohydrates for a long period of time and you reintroduce carbohydrates right back in, your body doesn't know how to process that. And so your body initially stores it all as fat instead of using it as for muscle fuel. So basically your body has 2 different fuel sources: ketones, which comes from fats, and then glycogen, which comes from carbs or sugar, you know? And so if you basically fed your body, regular gasoline, and we'll just say that's glycogen, and then all of a sudden put in there like a different source of fuel, your body's not going to know how to run through it. Well, it's the same thing when you go off that different source of fuel and right back to the glycogen, your body doesn't know how to utilize that for fuel, because there's 2 different sources of energy, the left path or the right path. So my body didn't understand that, and I had to actually go through this whole trial and error of slowly reintroducing my carbs back in, like week over week, and adding in more carbs until I trained my body properly, saying, hey, these carbs are good. Use them for energy, not for storing fats. So I'm not against keto. I'm not against low carb. I'm more for, hey, what's best for your lifestyle? If it's easier for you to do a low carb diet, then by all means do it. But don't look 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road. Look 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the road. If you can continue doing that for years down the road, by all means do it, because that means it's going to be sustainable and suitable for your lifestyle.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what happened for me, was that I would lose all that water weight from Monday to Friday. And then
put it back on.
Yeah, and then I would have a bunch of carbs Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and I would binge. And then Monday would come. I don't know. It's something about being in a routine, because Saturday and Sunday just throw my entire routine off. And then something about being in the routine on Monday to Friday, where it was easy for me to eat low carb. And it did work. I did lose some weight. But again, like you said, anytime I would eat carbs, like I would eat carbs on Friday, the next day I would gain almost half or all the weight back that I lost throughout the week. Yeah. So it's interesting you said that. And so on that point, when you said you did it for 8 months. So when you went for 8 months and then initially started eating carbs again, did it make you want to go back to keto, or just with your knowledge, you knew I need to take a step back and just reintroduce them?
So the only reason why I did it the first time was because I'm not a coach that is going to say, hey, client, don't eat your carbs because I read somewhere that it's good, or all this news is coming out that it's good for you not to eat carbs. I want to put myself to that test first to find out. Then I can subscribe it to a client saying, hey, yeah, go on a low carb diet, but it's like I had to figure that out. And then, yeah, like I said, when I started to reintroduce the carbs back in, I did not know that I was going to store fats, and then, yeah, it kind of messed up in my head, because I'm like, well, yeah, maybe I should go back to no carb because I wasn't storing the fat. But but at the end of the day, if I'm not able to basically eat the types of foods I want to eat, then I'm not living the type of life I want to live, you know, because I'm calculating on Carb Manager or my Fitness Pal, like, oh, there's X amount of carbs and then fibers, so we get our net carbs and do all this. I hate math, and I feel like health and fitness and nutrition should be as simple as possible. And that's what I try to teach to my clients, not do all these calculations.
Mm-hmm. Now, off of that, you mentioned my Fitness Pal. I know, like you said, I was a slave to that for like a year or maybe even 2 years. But do you teach macros or anything like that? Because I did macros for a while. Do you teach that?
I do. I'm a big fan of flexible dieting, but I teach it in a different way. I basically teach everybody the 80-20 rule, where as long as you're eating healthy, wholesome foods 80% of the day, you can have that 20% of foods, and I call them sanity foods, because I'd rather have clients eat healthy overall and then have a little sanity foods than eat healthy for like 100% and then all of a sudden like binge and then have a day of just, you know, eating whatever the hell they want. That's not going to be good, and that's not training themselves, because that's also training your mind how to have an unhealthy relationship with food, saying, hey, this is good food, this is bad food. I try to teach my clients basically is like, what's the nutritional value you're going to get out of that food? You know, it's like, are you going to get more energy from there? Are you going to profit off of that? Or is it something where it's going to be like, you know, not too good for you? You know, like a lot of the dads that I teach, I'm like, hey, I want you to go out and have ice cream with your kids, with your wife and all that stuff. I want you to go have donuts. I want you to have cake and all that stuff, because if you're going to be the type of dad that's not eating ice cream and his son's eating ice cream, whatever, or, you know, you don't want to go to a donut shop on Sunday mornings with your son and not have any, like, all you're doing is teaching your son bad habits without actually teaching them bad habits, because as father figures, your sons and daughters are going to look up to you the most and follow in your footsteps. So it's like, you need to train them properly. And to answer your question, I guess, yes, I teach macros, but it's like, it's way easier than that. My clients, They tell me the foods they like to eat, and they tell me the foods they don't like to eat. And I kind of recalculate their macros and their calories to make sure they're eating a calorie deficit, but I make it easier for them, saying, hey, yeah, you like having eggs and bacon and toast for breakfast. That's cool. Let's just, you know, replace the whole eggs with egg whites and still have the bacon and toast, and you'll be perfectly fine. I make like simple adjustments to people's nutrition plans to where they lose the weight and they're like, holy cow, I'm not doing anything different. Because like, I'll put an example like this. Let's say you come to me and you're like, hey, I want to lose all this weight, right? I'm going to give you the easiest, simplest approach to do that. And then when that stops working, I'll give you something else that's easy and simple to do. And when that stops working, I'll give you something easy, and so forth and so forth. I'm not the type of guy that is going to say, okay, cut out all your carbs, do hour-long cardio each and every day, and also do intermittent fasting. Sure, that's going to work, but eventually you're going to hit a plateau. And then it's like, hey, when you stop and you hit that wall, what else are we going to pull from? I can't say, hey, do more cardio, because you're already doing an hour a day. I can't say, hey, you know, don't eat any more carbs because you're not eating any. And I can't say, hey, push your meals back because you're already doing intermittent fasting. It's like, that's when people get stuck. And then that's when people also get very discouraged, because they're like, man, I hit this brick wall and, you know, it's a complete 180 jump to get to the other side. And I just don't want to take that risk. So it's all about making those small adjustments, because your body's always going to adapt to anything you do. So always make it very small over time.
That's awesome. I think like one of the things you said in there too that is huge just for dads in general is like, it's okay to go with your son to get donuts on a Sunday or go grab ice cream on a Saturday night. Like that, it's okay to do that. And I think you're 100% right in what you said. You struck gold saying that you're teaching them bad habits if you bring them, but you don't eat it.
Yeah.
Because you're teaching them how to look at food in an unhealthy way.
Yeah. And I'm like me being Italian, I was always the type where it's like, oh, eat everything on your dinner plate. And that's bad because now I had like this binge eating disorder where it's like, I got to eat everything in front of me. And you almost have to like retrain your body and your mind also, most importantly, your mind on, hey, like eat until you're satisfied, you know? And that's one of the things that everybody has the biggest issue with, you know, it's hard.
If you put food in front of me, same as an Italian, if you put food in front of me, I am going to finish all of it. It's almost like a challenge. It's like, okay, okay, I can do that. Like, you know, it's a challenge. So leading from that though, so like going from, like you were saying, like going out to eat with your kid on a Saturday night or a Sunday morning, whatever it is, having those typical like kind of cheat meals and putting in the time for that. How do you also manage working out with a newborn? Because you just did this. Like you said earlier, your son is 15 months old.
Yeah.
You obviously have gone through this whole change. You went through that transition of getting a dad bod, getting rid of it. How did you go through that? Like, how do you find the time in your day? Because I think a lot of people always make up the excuse of, oh, I'm so busy. I get up in the morning, I go to work, I come home, I make dinner, I have anything, whatever to do. I think a lot of people honestly just sit down and watch TV. It's an excuse in their own brain. But how did you find time in your day to go out there and do that?
So you just hit the nail on the head. Most people find time to watch TV, and that's perfect. I want them watching their TV, but when during their commercials, I want them doing push-ups and sit-ups. Like, I'm the type of person where I'm like, hey, I want to follow everything to the T, but I also want to cram it in there. So with me personally, and I don't tell anybody to do my my lifestyle because it's suited for my lifestyle. I wake up usually at 4 a.m. every morning and I work out, for an hour straight, and it's out of the way before my son's even awake, So it's like, I already win, but also at the same time, in the evening times, when I'm watching TV or Netflix with my family, I'm doing push-ups and sit-ups right there. My son is like, he's 15 months old, so he's starting to stand now and walk a little bit. And he's like doing this whole and like would fall on me like as I'm doing push-ups and sit-ups. And it's awesome, and then I'll take them when I'm down on my back on the ground. I'll throw them up in the air. So like that right there is called NEAT, right? It's non-exercise activity thermogenesis. I'm not lifting weights, but I'm being active. And that small little activity that you do over time, especially throughout the course of the day, it adds up. So I always tell dads, hey, go for a walk with your family. Hey, go play some basketball, like do something, like walk more, stop sitting down so much. We live in such of a life right now where we mostly have sedentary jobs where we're sitting down at a desk all day. And that basically mentally drains us. So you go home all day and what do? You sit down on the couch, you watch Netflix and because you want to chill and relax, because you're mentally exhausted, but you're not physically exhausted, And so that's the issue. It's about getting the brain to correspond with the muscles and how your body actually feels. And so I always tell everybody, don't worry about finding time to work out. Worry about finding time for NEAT, because that NEAT, that non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is going to add up over time. So I'll tell dads like, hey, try to walk, 8,000 steps a day and do that for a course of the week, and then make it, 9,000 and then 10,000. And all that means is just taking your family out for a walk, which is something everybody should be doing to get some fresh air and spend more quality time with their family.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually posted that the other day on our Instagram page, was just get out and get 10,000 steps in, because my wife and I have been doing that. And it's honestly, for me, it's not like I run a lot. I like to run. Like I'm one of those weird people who enjoys running. So I'll get most of my steps in during my run usually. But even then, my wife and I will go out for a walk. And like you said, it's great family time. That's when we get some of our best thinking done, like business wise, work wise, relationship wise. We get some of our best thinking done during those walks. And we're being active, so we're stretching ourselves physically, but we're also stretching ourselves mentally, because you're able to have conversations that you might not have had if you were sitting in front of the TV. So
that's the key, dude. It's all about that mental stamina, building that up.
Yeah, love that. How do you teach your clients to have that?
To just do it. So with my clients, I talk to them every single day. All right. I train X amount of clients each and every month. They're in the community group, so everybody gets to see everybody's activity. If they're hitting their nutritional goals, if they're doing their workouts, if they're doing any excess cardio, we all get to see that. But also, I'm a big part in that community group where I'm posting my workouts as well. I'm sharing what I'm doing. I'm sharing my recipes on what I'm eating. So all these other dads are saying wow, this guy's doing the same thing. He's just not sitting behind a computer telling me what to do. He's actually putting in the work itself. And obviously, if you see that on my Instagram, I'm on the grind every single morning. I'm talking about my day. Me and my other, my member over in Washington, D.C., Craig, I made a bet with him. This was 56 days ago. I said, Craig, I want to work out 10 straight days in a row, and I want you to be more consistent on the program. So every single day, I'm going to tag you in my Instagram story, day 1 out of 10. Now, I said, as soon as we got to 10, I'm like, all right, we're making this to 100. We're going to add another 0. So now we're 56 days in a row to make it to 100. And he's doing the same workouts as me, some body weight workouts. I have backpack workouts for dads that don't have access to a gym to do right at home because it's extra resistance. And he's losing weight on the program. Why? Consistency. That is the key, So by me snapshotting something on my Instagram story and tagging them in it, it's consistency. It builds up, and it's the same thing as like, hey, if you're trying to break a habit, don't do it for 21 days, don't do it for 27 days, something like that. It's the same thing with health and fitness. You need to put it into your daily routine where you understand, hey, waking up an extra 30 minutes or an hour early is going to help me. Hey, going for a walk every single day, it's going to help me. Eventually, it's going to be part of your routine and your circadian rhythm where it's just going to have a natural state of flow.
I love that. I love your attitude, man. You're just like a get it done type of mentality.
And it's very simple. Like, it's cut and dry, it's just like you want, like, and that's why, like, when I have people that apply, because all day long, I have these coaching calls with people that's applying for my program, and I want to interview them. Everybody says, hey, I want to lose weight. I want to build muscle. I want to look good, with my shirt off. I always ask why, why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Why do you want to lose 30 pounds? And I'm going to tell them straight up, there's going to come a time and a point where they don't want to continue, pushing forward, or maybe the scale's not moving or anything like that. Like fat loss is so, like, it's not linear. It's always going to go up and down. There's going to be some times where they need that extra motivation. What is the why? A lot of dads, they don't have the best sex life with their wives. Hate to say it. They don't feel comfortable taking their shirts off at pool parties in the summertime. It's like, these are the whys I want to figure out, because when Motivational Joe comes out, they're like, holy cow, I just got 6 more months of energy in me because this guy just got me on the phone and started yelling at me saying, this is what you told me you wanted. This is why you want to lose the weight, and like, you got to be hard. You got to play hardball, and like vice versa. I need somebody to play that with me,
Yeah, that's awesome. That's huge. Weston, with, you're obviously like in the step of being a new dad right now. What have you taken away so far from like what Joe has said?
I like the because I used to work out at 4 a.m. Well, 5 a.m. I used to get up at 4:30 a.m. And now I think I'm just kind of scared with the new schedule. And once Joe said the 4 a.m., I'm like, I could totally do that. Like, I could go back to working out before work, get it done, and then it's done because he ain't awake at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So I think that's key. I think it's doable, because a lot of times you think it's not doable. Like, I got so much to do. How am I supposed to work out? But Joe, it makes it doable.
Yeah.
It makes it doable.
Set the intentions for the day, like the night. I'm a big fan of like mindset training as well. So like the night before you go to sleep, make a to-do list for everything you want to accomplish the next day and put it from hardest to easiest. So the first thing you do in the morning, if it's hard for you, and that might be waking up and just working out, get it out of the way, because you're already going to start winning the day. You're starting to build up those habits where it's like 10 a.m. hits, you already knocked out half of your list. One, you're going to feel way better, but two, you're putting forth those actions into your daily habit, where it's just like, this is on the course of getting me to where I want to reach my goals, whether that's inside or outside of health and fitness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I dig it, man.
That's awesome. And Joe, is your, because I know a big thing too is like sometimes with having a newborn, obviously the time factor is insane. I don't know yet. I'm obviously not there, but just from things I've heard and just typical stereotype things, that the time factor is insane. You're both super busy, changing diapers, feeding, staying up all night, whatever it is. With you getting up at 4 a.m., how does that work with your schedule with your wife? And getting up late at night to feed the baby, or getting up in the middle of the night to change diapers, whatever it may be. Like, how do you guys balance that? Is she supportive of you getting up at 4? What's your like overall thoughts there on that?
Yeah, she's very supportive. If she wasn't, I wouldn't be in the position I am right now. The main thing is everybody needs that support system. And by all means, she's the best because, let's say the baby does wake up, okay, and he's being fussy, and I'm in the garage working out. I don't even hear him and all that stuff. My wife's going to take care of him, My wife's also the person that wakes up in the middle of the night when she hears the baby waking up and crying, like, and goes to his crib. Like, she's the best, hands down. Like, I may be physically strong, I may be mentally strong, but my wife is that times 10, She's on a whole nother level because, in my opinion, she does way more than anybody else in this planet can do, you know, as a mother, as a wife, as just an overall person that's looking out for her friends and family.
Mm-hmm. That's huge. I think like you hit the nail on the head. Like you said, support system is 100% what you need. Definitely.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about like new dads and stepping into being a father and continuing that journey of either staying fit or getting rid of the dad bod that you might have just got, whatever it is. I'm sure you have clients that have been dads for 10, 15 plus years that are now trying to reactivate their lifestyle. I think I had seen one, I don't remember the gentleman's name, but I'd seen a transformation you just posted a couple of days ago, I think. And there was a guy it was like a 2 month, maybe a month or two transformation. And the pictures, the guy literally looks like a different person. Yeah. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but he had a huge,
I do.
A huge beer gut. And then the next one, he didn't necessarily have a six pack, but he was skinny.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that transformation and I was like, that is insane. But I read in your caption that he had said like one of his main motivations was the fact that he felt as though his wife didn't love him as much anymore. Like he just needed to get reactive, things of that sort. So he was obviously someone who was probably a dad for quite some time now. So like, do you have any advice on like how you took that guy through his transformation, or like advice for people like that?
Yeah, absolutely. The main thing is you got to have a support system. You know, like with me, I have a wife that's great. She's a support system, but I also have these community, you know, of all these other dads that I'm helping out that's on the same course. So all these other dads inside the group, you know, on the Heartletics app, they can simply message each other, and they do so as far as, hey, what's working, what's not working? What can I get some inspiration, some encouragement? Hey, I'm not dealing with this, or I'm dealing with this, that they can't necessarily share with their wives. You know, they come to me because I have that support system of other dads and father figures that they can come to and get advice on. Now, as far as helping somebody like Dennis, you know, get from point A to point B, it's consistency. You know, Dennis, he never really worked out. He never really ate healthy. And obviously, like, that had negative effects on his body image, but also his confidence. You know, the main thing that, like, and you know this, man, girls, like, they don't care about your body. They care about your confidence. Like, if you're a confident person, they're going to spot that out, you know? So with him not being confident, that was obviously hindering his relationship with his wife, specifically in the bedroom too, which is, you know, very sad. But at the same time, when you have somebody that has the balls to say that to a random stranger over the phone, you know they're committed. You know they want to make the change. And it's all about getting outside your comfort zone, admitting that you have an issue and a problem, and looking for help. You know, like, I take all the guesswork out because I switch up my programs for my clients every single week as far as their meal plans, as far as their training programs. So it's suitable for their lifestyle. They just need to take that commitment and being open and honest with me on how I can help them and what I have, like, access to. Is it like meal prep? Is it fast food options? Like, a lot of the dads on there, they're eating the same types of foods as me, you know, Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, gas station foods, because they live that lifestyle where they're quickly, you know, on the go. And by all means, it's okay. It's just, you need somebody that's going to structure things properly for you and say, hey, don't get the bag of chips, get a Quest bar at the Speedway. You know, it's just like, when you have that balance, when you have that structure, it's huge because it's taking the stress and pressure off your shoulders, and you're putting your faith and trust into somebody else who's looking from the outside in on every little aspect of their life. How much sleep are they getting? How many steps are they getting? Are they doing their workouts? Are they hitting their nutrition? Like, are they, you know, checking in for their progress photos? Are they stepping on the scale, taking their body measurements? When you take all those different variables and you're committed to it and actually following through with everything, your body's going to change regardless, because you have somebody that's taking that in perspective and making sure we're looking at all the data, make sure you're getting from point A to point B and where you want to get to. As far as Dennis goes, it didn't take a month. I will say that. It took roughly around like 5 to 6 months. Okay. But if you think about it, losing 42 pounds in 5 to 6 months, it's almost incredible, because the guy looks way better now than what he was looking like when he was in his, like, 30s, you know?
Yeah. Dude, he legit looks like a noob. He looks like a different person.
Yeah. And the main thing was, you could tell from his face, he was happy.
I think that's one of the biggest things too that, like, keeps me motivated is just, like you said, confidence is 100% the key. And I think no matter how you cut it, most of us are not confident when we're overweight. There is that rare person out there who is, like, super confident when they're just totally fine being themselves. That's awesome. But I think for the majority of us, if we're playing it just straight, most of us aren't comfortable when we're overweight, and we lack that confidence. So I think, like you said, I think that's huge. Just staying physically in shape so you can be the best person you possibly can be mentally.
Absolutely.
I think that really covers all of the questions that we had for you today. Do you have any other like advice you want to throw out there? An overview of your program, anything like that?
Advice for other father figures is like, find those dads, you know, like Michael, you and Weston, like you guys, you're friends, you know, and you guys started this podcast together, was just huge because, you know, you guys are going to be walking through the same journey of life, you know, having a baby and dealing with what it's like being a father, you know, and it's just like everybody needs that support system. Everybody needs their friends out there where they can just relax and talk about things. And it's like what you said, like, it's not about being politically correct because it's just like everybody's dealing with the same issues. So might as well be up in front and honest about everything. And yeah, you know, like obviously from a fitness perspective, you know, just be more active. You know, it's like you even said it, you know, try to get 10,000 steps in. You know, like everybody thinks like you need to be in the gym to lose weight or to get in the best shape. That's not true at all. There's clients out there that I train where I just track their sleep and their nutrition and they lose the weight. You know, like working out in the gym, yeah, sure, that's going to help you build muscle and like change your body composition. But if you're just looking for the scale number to go down and you're looking to live healthier, you can simply do that with just getting proper sleep and getting proper nutrition in, you know? Overview of the program, if anybody's interested, I only have a few spots open simply because it's not a one-size-fits-all program. Every single client has a different single workout program and meal plan from every other client because it is all tailored and personalized. If anybody's interested, there's only a few spots open, but heartletics.com is my business, and that's where you'll find out more information on the coaching program. But yeah, I mean, by all means, like me, you know, the coach down the street or any other online fitness coach, you know, you don't need me. Nobody needs me, you know. Like anybody can get in shape. You can find information online on what to do and how to eat healthy. The main thing is be consistent, you know, be consistent and, you know, hold yourself accountable if you feel like you can do that. You know, if you feel like you can, you know, stick with something and it's going to be sustainable for you, you know, you don't need to pay money for a coach by all means. You know, I'll be the first one to tell you that, you know, like I don't need to take your money. I just want to make sure that the people that I'm training get the best results from point A to point B without all the guesswork and wasting weeks, months, years trying to figure it out for themselves, Google searching and everything like that. But at the end of the day, man, you know this, consistency wins everything. It's just like being consistent with your workouts, being consistent with your nutrition, and also being consistent as a husband, you know, or a father figure, you know. You also got to be consistent outside of health and fitness and focus on your relationship as well as your career.
What you just said there is so well put, but also too, I definitely think I've learned so much from just having you on this episode. You definitely deserve for people to pay you for your knowledge. I know you said they don't need you, but people need that accountability partner. You know, they need someone to be accountable to. And sometimes that best person is a stranger they don't know that they saw online, you know? So I think that's huge, man. We appreciate you coming on. Weston, do you have any other questions? Anything else for Joe?
No, I think Joe summed it up. I think, that gives hope to a lot of new fathers, including myself, who hasn't hit the gym since probably a month before my son was born. So thank you, Joe. Appreciate your time, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. I had a blast. And, you know, I can't wait to see, you know, more episodes on the podcast, man. I think it's going to blow up.
Yeah, definitely. We appreciate it, man. Thank you. And for everyone out there listening, you can find Joe at Joe_Callari. That's Callari on Instagram. You can find him at Joe Callari on Facebook. His business page is Joe Callari Online Fitness Coach on Facebook. And then we'll also link his YouTube channel, which is, again, just his name, Joe Callari. We'll also link his website, heartletics.com, in the description and everything here. And again, right now you have an online a free program going on, right?
Yes, specifically for just dads. So no women out there. So like just dads, they get basically 30-minute workouts. That's all body weight exercises, no equipment at all, and a sample meal plan that they could easily follow at home. And the best part is you're also going to get the Dad Bod community group with other father figures as well looking to get in shape, you know, and then me holding them accountable for their free workouts.
Awesome. That's huge, man. So we'll link that as well. Again, it's free. There's absolutely no risk in anyone doing that. So we'll link that in the description too. And Joe, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, brother.
Huge, man. Thank you.